Yo, what's good YouTube? It's boardzy, and this is going to be my full review of the retail Sprime PM1 unit. I reviewed my pre-production sample a few months back, and yeah, this is just the retail unit, so I'm going to give some updates. I'm not going to like re-go over the shape in its entirety because I imagine a lot of people saw the OG video. But yeah, this is obviously based off of the Logitech G703, but it's really not. It's significantly smaller in every aspect, really, and it's just a unique style of ergo, where what I mean by that is it's not an EC clone, is pretty much the only statement I was making there. It does kind of feel like a mixed race mouse, just not sure whether it wants to be an ambi or an ergo. I know that might sound weird, you're like, this is clearly an ergo, but in hand it just feels a lot more ambi-ish. It just feels like a wide, kind of bulky, ambidextrous mouse, like asymmetrical, rather than just a full-on ergo, if that makes sense. And yeah, I mean, really, when you look at the humps, you can kind of understand what I'm saying. You see on the Death Header, it's obviously much higher on one side. Same thing goes with the buttons. There's just not much of a disparity between button height where I'm actually making contacts. And yeah, lastly, even the sides, there's just not like significant flaring or curvature. So it is just a unique feeling ergo, and if you do have large hands, you're expecting a G703 clone, it's absolutely not going to feel like that. I would say, like, with my 21x11 hands, this is really on the small end for like a mouse I can palm grip, but I can like technically still pull it off, even though I'm mostly doing like some type of honestly kind of aggressive claw grip on this mouse. And for an ergo mouse like this, I mean, fingertip, it's passable, but I would never like recommend this as a top fingertip mouse. But this is a 45-gram mouse, which I feel like is one of the most important factors. I mean, lightweight ergos, or technically ergos like this, don't really exist. The Lamzu Thorn is in the low 50-gram range, but other than that, you're kind of hard-pressed to find legit lightweight ergos, and this with a solid shell is exactly as impressive as my pre-production unit was. You can see like the translucent bottom of the shell, you can see like the actual design and just how minimal it is. I just think that's like a kind of cool touch. But yeah, the sidewalls are incredibly strong. There are some rumors that ninjutsu is Sprime, and I mean, the build quality, just everything about the Sprime and the ninjutsu mice are fucking practically identical, even down to the dongle. They're both using Omron optical switches. I don't know how that just happened. But yeah, these are some of the most like tactile, sharp feeling optical switches I've ever felt. There's like a special mechanism. Unfortunately, I do have the right click squeaking issue. It mainly comes up when I press on like the right side of the mouse, and this wasn't present for a little bit. When I got the mouse, it was there, then I just kept using it, it went away, and then it came back. But Sprime did say that they'll just straight up send you a new unit if you're affected by this issue. Like, you don't even have to ship the old one back. So that's obviously super good when it comes to customer service. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that being the only noticeable like quality control type of issue on a mouse like this, that's just a good sign. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's no other aspects for me to nitpick, really. The stock skates aren't great, but you can see you can just throw on plenty of like larger style glides, 4-corner skate glides. Like, there's a lot of freedom for you to put whatever you want. And yeah, this mouse is locked to 1K hertz polling, which is definitely unfortunate because it is a $120 mouse, and they do say you will need to purchase an additional dongle, so it's not even a factor of like just a firmware update. Like, you straight up will need another dongle at some point. And I'm not really disappointed in this because I think 1K hertz polling rate is like bad or unusable or anything, but when the pre-production unit was out, Sprime did say that like higher polling rates would be ready by the retail release, and then evidently that's not here. But then again, ninjutsu doesn't have their high polling rate solution figured out either, so there maybe something's just going on. I think that truly it's like similar to Vaxi, where they just want to release an actually good high polling rate implementation rather than just using like default OEM firmware and just hoping for the best. But yeah, that's kind of sensor jargon. I don't know how many people care about that, but yeah, getting back to the buttons, like I said, there are no quality issues to note. There is a bit more post travel than I would like. I guess that is kind of a nitpick, and the rebound on the clicks, it's just not like super instant. I don't know, I feel like on the 30 FPS 60 FPS whatever this is video, it will look instant, but like just compared to an OP1, when I like click these mice in, the rebound is just noticeably faster on the OP1, even on like the final mouse. So I don't know, it's just like the rebound does seem a little bit slow, even with this like dialed in tactility mechanism they have going on. The scroll wheel just feels very generic. I don't even know how to describe scroll wheels. It's weird. Like, the more mice I review, the less I can fucking muster up about scroll wheels. They just all blend into the same. It's just really a fine wheel. I would say it's like a little bit stiff, where it's not like super loose. It's not notchy though. It's a wheel. The click is on like the light medium, and the side buttons though, these are incredible. I think I talked about these in my original review. Just the siren agrees. You can hear it. But yeah, I mean, these side buttons, what more could you ask for? I mean, they're fucking huge. They genuinely like make up half the length of the mouse. They're like thick. They're just light. They're crispy. They're perfect. The side buttons are absolutely perfect. If every mouse had side buttons like this, I would never complain about anything again. The coating is definitely good. It's not as good as the Endgame Gear coating. It's just maybe like 5% more like slippery, and even though it's white, I can still notice it like picks up like oil from my hands sometimes. So yeah, I won't say that this is hands down the best coating on the market, but it's definitely up there, and I would say it's not more than like a 10% difference between this and the real best coating, however you would fucking quantify that. So yeah, really build quality, weight, buttons, like pretty much everything has been determined to be good on this mouse, but I just find the shape to be awkward. I know that's the most basic way to just be like, a mouse isn't for me, like I don't like the shape, and this isn't a situation where I'm saying the shape is bad, which is something I'm really not afraid to do. But yeah, this is just like, I don't know, there's no room for me to really adjust when I'm claw gripping it. It's just like there's such a wide, like bulky presence towards the back of the mouse. It's like that is the only truly like G703 inspired aspect, is the fucking bulb hump in your palm. But the rest of the mouse just isn't that big. So it's like the proportions just feel a bit off to me. And it's just ultimately not something that's going to stay on my desk. Like the other day I had 12 mice on my desk. Like ultimately I gotta fucking draw the line somewhere. And I mean, an awkward mouse that I'm just not completely in love with, even though it does like check almost every box. It's just not something I'm gonna like consistently main. But I really do think for some people, especially if you have like smaller hands and let's say you palm grip, or you just want something that's gonna have you like locked in, not really a lot of room to like, with just not a lot of like inner hand maneuverability, to take a term coined by Fresh Reviews. I mean, that's just, I don't know, I just don't love the shape. So I mean, some people, if this does sound like it appeals to you, then I would say go for it. I mean, $120, I feel like at 100, considering there's no higher polling rate, that would have been a good price. But I mean, it's a fucking $20 difference. I don't think that's really the end of the world if you are truly interested in this mouse. But I would like to see in the future a large shape that is just truly like a G703 clone. I don't know if they're like allowed to do that, but if we ever seen a mouse company fucking sue somebody for stealing a design, I haven't. I mean, maybe Final S has done it like once, but I don't know, just steal the G703 design. I feel like that would personally be a bit more interesting for me in the long term. But yeah, that's going to be about all for the Sprime PM1 review. I've had no issues with the wireless. The web-based software has worked amazingly. I use no motion sync, competitive mode, and yeah, just on 1K polling, it's perfectly fine, especially in Fortnite where higher pollings can be a little bit suspicious. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, I honestly did spend too much time testing this mouse. Like, if all I cared about was efficiency, fucking pumping out mouse reviews, I would not have spent like weeks on each of my pre-production and then retail unit of this mouse. So I did want to try to like it, but I don't know, the shape, it's just not something I'm going to use long term. Peace out.